Hello, this is assignment M.7A4, Universal Design and Web Accessibility. I'm Greg Frimming. The focus of this study is going to be about web accessibility for a population of users with low vision. Potential reasons for this could include injury, age, or sight issues at birth. Low vision includes poor acuity, or vision that's not sharp, tunnel vision, seeing only the middle of the visual field, central field loss, seeing only the edges of the visual field, and clouded vision. On the right, I've got some examples of viewing sites with visual field loss. As you can see, this could be definitely a struggle for those that have low vision to view web pages, and creating web accessible to help with low vision helps matters greatly. For areas of discussion, I'm going to be talking about barriers, solutions, and testing. Some of the barriers for low vision users when accessing public websites include sometimes developers only focus on one aspect or method of accessing a website. They spend all their time either working on a desktop version or mobile version, or maybe a little bit of time on the multimedia players or plugins, but it really needs to be thought of holistically. Another barrier is images, controls, and other structural elements that do not have equivalent text alternatives. A great example would be converting a range of text into an image on the site. People like the flexibility of images. Sometimes it can be a little easier to work with. PDFs are popular, and these can't be converted to text very easily, and therefore can't be listened to for those with low vision. Another barrier would be text, images, and page layouts that cannot be resized or that lose information when resized. As you see on the left, standard web page type, look, and feel, and when it's zoomed, it may overlap, cause issues, lines of text become too large. It's a problem when trying to use accessibility tools. Another barrier could be missing visual and non-visual orientation cues, page structure, and other navigational aids. So perhaps a page that's just a full page of text and visuals that you can't really follow the flow if you're not looking at them. Another barrier, video content that does not have text or audio alternatives, or an audio description track. Inconsistent, unpredictable, and overly complicated navigation mechanisms and page functions. When designing web pages, there are a certain set of standards that are there for a reason. As we learned in our lessons, some web developers like to try to reinvent the wheel, and sometimes it causes issues. Some other barriers. Text and images with insufficient contrast between foreground and background color combinations. So as seen in the example, it could be very difficult to tell the difference between the header, the text, and the background. Some other potential barriers. Websites, web browsers, and authoring tools that do not support the use of custom color combinations. Another piece of low vision can be color blindness, or the ability to tell differences between certain shades of colors. And finally, websites or web browsers or authoring tools that do not provide full keyboard support. So many of those that are visually impaired may need to tab through the various pieces of the website, and they'll need to do that on a keyboard. I've included some solutions that could help with this problem, and these are ways that websites can be designed to accommodate users with low vision. One important thing is enlarging and reducing text size and images, and as I've learned, this tends to be browser specific. A developer must create in a way that works with the browser, And each browser has a help page as shown in my example. How to zoom in or out, how to make text larger, smaller. Some other solutions are customizing settings for fonts, colors, and spacing. You may have seen on certain web pages where it's actually embedded in the page. Other ways, other solutions, listening to text-to-speech synthesis of the content. So that's where it's very important to have text versus images on the page. Also listening to audio descriptions of video and multimedia. This can be helpful. Many modern multimedia players will allow you to embed this. Other solutions, reading text using refreshable braille. As you see here is one of the refreshable braille devices, and a site should be developed in such a way that it's compatible with this device. Another key piece is using accessible friendly fonts such as Tahoma, Calibri, Helvetica, Arial, Verdana, Times New Roman, Arvo, Museo Slab, and Rockwell. These are easily distinguishable characters. They can be zoomed and enlarged without any distortion. And finally, it's very important testing. Successfully developing a website that meets the needs of low vision users requires testing. So it's very important to involve low vision users early and throughout the design process. That way you're not running into issues down the line. You should show examples and perform planned and unplanned testing sequences. So maybe a script that you'd like them to follow, but also trying to use the site naturally to see what kind of issues come across. Other testing, you should access all aspects of the website on multiple browsers and platforms. It may be very important for someone that's low vision to be able to access on an iPad screen, on a phone, or maybe even a very large monitor. And finally, running an accessibility checker, such as the one found at Site Improve, will help you determine if your website is going to support those with low vision. Here are my works cited page. Many of these include W3C and other sites that are dedicated to helping those with low vision issues. Thank you very much.